Okay, let me introduce myself. Okay, myself, I'm Venu. I have around 18 years of experience into the field of HR. Where I started my career as HR executive for one of the manufacturing industries. Then from there, I've moved to SAP. I've learned SAP online and then moved to SAP HCM. I was implementing SAP HCM for the customers for a couple of years. Okay, I've worked for all Indian customers. In the support, I've worked for some countries like Kenya and South Africa too. And from SAP HCM, I've upgraded my skills and moved to SuccessFactors. And it's been like 7, 8 years in SuccessFactors. From last 7, 8 years, I'm into the SuccessFactors. In SuccessFactors, I've handled modules like Employee Central, Compensation, PMGM, and RCM. Though I've worked on all of these modules, my core or primary area was always like Employee Central and Compensation, and so I've worked mostly in either compensation or in Employee Central. So coming to teaching, I've been into teaching from last 10 to 11 years. I was training, no, I was giving training on SAP HCM earlier, and after getting into SuccessFactors from last 5, 6 years, I've started training and giving training in Employee Central and compensation as well. Okay, so that's a quick intro about me. Since we have different kinds of participants here, when I say different kinds, like some of you have already experience of IT knowledge, and some of you doesn't have any knowledge into IT. Okay, you're fresh, you want to move your career or shift your career from functional to technical IT. Okay, so I'll be giving you some basics about what is success factors and how success factors is related to SAP. So all of you must be knowing that success factors is a product of SAP. So SAP has their own product called SAP HR, where people who are working for SAP HR. So we have developers there into ABAP, and then we have functional as SAP HR. And then we have workflow consultants. Or there are many roles in SAP HR too. But in success factors is also a product of SAP. Then why do we have two different products? Why SAP is owning two different products? What are the differences in these two products? We'll talk about that. We'll see what is that. What are those differences? Okay. So if you have doubts anywhere, you can just stop me. You can interrupt me, and you can ask your doubts. You don't have to wait till end of the session. So even in the regular sessions, I go in the same fashion. You have some doubts, you stop me, you get it clarified, and then we'll move on. At the end, now in the middle of the sessions, I'll be asking if you have any doubts. But even at the end also I'll ask you, or the next session when we start, I'll generally see if you have any doubts after practicing. And if you have any doubts, we'll be clarifying them and then move to the next topic. So how many of you know what is a cloud computing? A success factors is a cloud computing application. You must have heard or you must have seen in the Google or somewhere in some portals. Okay, success factors is a cloud computing application. What is a cloud computing application? Can anybody tell me what is a cloud computing? What is your understanding about the cloud computing? How different is success factors from other products like SAP or Oracle or any other product? Any answers? No? You don't know what is a cloud computing? Okay, so let me show you. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So applications are divided into two parts. One is the cloud computing and second is the on-premise application. So what is the difference between the cloud computing and the on-premise? For any application, any software that you want to use, the first thing that they need is the infrastructure, right? So if we want to use, let's say all of you must be using the mobiles. Okay, maybe some of you are using Apple phones or iPhones, or some of you must be using the Android phones. What is the difference between Android and the iPhones? Can
Operating
anybody tell
system.
me what is operating system is different? So iPhones are using iOS software, whereas the other mobile, they are using the Android.
Android.
So this is a operating system. Now, if I have to install an application in any mobile, be it iPhone or in Samsung or any other mobile, so what should I do? Should go to either App Store
App
or
Store
Play
or
Store.
Play Store.
Yeah. So depending on the operating system, I'll be going to. So both of these operating systems have got similar features, right? The only difference is because we are in Android, we are going to Play Store and searching for a software that is required. And similar software, now let's take an example of WhatsApp. So if I have to install WhatsApp, I'll have to go to Play Store, download that software. Or if I'm using iPhone, I'll go to App Store and then download the what. So both of them has got the same application. So does this application gives you the same features? Yes or no? Both
Yes,
Android and
definitely.
iOS, both of them gives the same? No. They almost give you the same features when it comes to feature. If WhatsApp is now giving you a feature to add a picture or to add a location or to add a contact or to send a contact to your colleagues or friends. Okay, so you can do that either in the Android or in the iOS. Now the functionality or the feature is same, but the look and feel may be a bit different because WhatsApp, they have developed the application for both of the users, iOS users and the Android users. So they have given you, because of the operating system, the look and feel is different, but almost the features are same. Right? We may be having multiple applications which look like or which may give you the same kind of features like WhatsApp. Okay, so why we are using WhatsApp? Because that's popular, that's being used across the globe by almost all the users. Okay, now what if when you're installing the WhatsApp, what is the first thing that we should have? We should have enough space to install that application, right? If my phone or if my mobile is full of some files, okay, I don't have enough space. Can I install the software? Or maybe WhatsApp is very small, but if I have to install some gaming application, okay, where it says the application will occupy 1 GB of space. So if I don't have that space, I'll not be able to install that application. So that means the first thing that we should have in our mobiles is the enough space to install, and that is called your infrastructure. After adding the multiple applications into your mobile, your phone may not support adding more applications because of the space that we have, because the other applications have occupied the space. So you should have the infrastructure, you should have enough space to hold the data in the system. Okay, so now when it comes to this data, what we can do, there are a lot of files in my mobile. I want to free up my space. What can I do? I can either go and delete the unnecessary files. So whichever I don't want to use, I can delete them. Or even after deleting, or there are no files that I can delete. I want to use all of my files. So what can I do? What will I do?
We can store it in cloud.
You can store it in cloud. What is
Cloud.
cloud there? Yeah, either you can store it in the iCloud or no Google. You can store it in the Google Cloud, Google Drive. That's called the Google Drive. So most of these applications, they also give you option to store your data into the cloud. Okay. Now the difference between the files that you have stored in the cloud and the files that you have stored in your mobile. What is that difference? Difference is you can access the files that you have in your mobile only if you have mobile with you. Tomorrow you lost your mobile, or maybe you have kept your mobile somewhere in office and you are at home now. and you want to access the files. Can you access the files which are stored in your mobile? No. Generally, if it is stored on your mobile, you will not be able to access. But if they are in the cloud, you will still be able to. If they are in the drive, you will still be able to access them if you are connected to internet. So you can log into your network and access those files either in the G drive or in the iCloud, wherever if you have placed your files, you can still access them. That means the files that are stored in the cloud are accessible anywhere. Even if you are 1,000 miles away, you can still be able to access them by connecting to internet. And the files that you have on your mobile, that's an example of on-premise. So SAP is an on-premise software where the data is stored in the server which is physically located at the office. Whenever you implement a Whenever you want to implement as a SAP or Oracle or any other on-cloud, on-premise applications, the first thing that you do is you go procure the server. What is your requirement for how many employees you want to have the data maintained? Okay, what data you want to maintain in the system. So depending on these conditions, you will be procuring a server. You go procure a server, place it in your office, and then connect all of your systems to that server. Let's say there are 10 HRs working in the organization. Each of them will be hiring the employees. So when they hire the employee, they will be logging into their own system, adding the data. So 10 different HRs hiring the employees' data, all of these 10 HRs can look at all the employee data in the system. So when I have if I'm an HR, when I log into the system, I can see all the employee data. Though even though I have not hired that employee, I can still be able to see that data. Why? Because all of us are connected to one server. So connecting to the server, this can be done either through local area network uh, by plugging the LAN to your system, or you connect to that server using VPN. So one way or the other way, we are connecting to the same server and then accessing the data. So the employee I had, my colleague can access the data. Tomorrow I don't have my system is repaired, but I want to access the data that I have hired or somebody else have hired. I'll still be able to do that if I'm connected to local area network or connected to VPN, provided I should have that SAP software installed in my system. Okay, so that's on-premise application. When it comes to the cloud computing application, you don't have to install any application or any software. You will be accessing the application through a URL, just like how you are accessing your Gmail. Now, if I have to access Gmail in the system, I'll go open a browser, any browser, okay, Firefox, Mozilla, or Internet Explorer. Just type www.gmail.com, then I go, uh, click on sign in or log in, and then key in my ID and password, you log into the Gmail. The cloud computing applications also, it is the similar way or the same way how you log into Gmail, you can also log into cloud computing applications like SuccessFactors. SuccessFactors is a URL based application where you'll have to key in your ID and password to log into the system, then access the data, provided you are connected to internet. And where is the data getting stored? So generally, we don't see any physical server. Now, if you are accessing Gmail, you don't see any physical server there. The data what you're storing, now if you have sent an email, that is not stored in your hard disk. Instead, it is getting stored in the G drive. Right. So same thing, success factors also, whatever data that you store, that gets stored in the servers which are hosted remotely, which you don't see. The physical servers doesn't exist. And all of this data lies in the servers which are hosted remotely. And this process is called a cloud computing. The practice of using a network of remote servers hosted on internet to store, manage, and process the data rather than a local server. The functioning of the application is same both in on-premise and in the cloud computing. The functioning is same, but the process of storing the data is different. So for both of these applications, the structure remains same. The first thing that you need is the infrastructure, the space to save the data. Second is the platform on which the applications are built. There are many cloud computing applications available in the market. Like SuccessFactors, we have Workday, we have Salesforce, and so on. So these are all cloud computing applications. So each one of them are developed on a different operating system. And SuccessFactors is a HR application. So we have different applications. There are some applications for learning. There are some applications for finance. There are some applications for material management. So you have different applications for different purposes. Okay, so the
So
third
I
layer
have
is
one
your,
doubt.
yes, go ahead.
The data will not be stored. The database is in the cloud only.
Yes,
Backend it will not be available. Like the
yes,
earlier HCM, we were storing in our info type tables and all, right?
yes.
So
Now
that
where
will
is the,
not
where,
be.
see, info type is the concept of SAP. Info
Hmm,
type is just a concept of your SAP, right? You're
yeah.
calling that
Hmm,
screen as an info type.
yeah.
Okay. But when you log into SAP, from where are you log into SAP? So there is a SAP GUI installed on your
Yeah. System.
system. Yeah.
Hmm,
Yeah. So when you're opening, you're giving
hmm,
the details like which server you're connecting to, right?
yeah.
So how does
Hmm.
system know, or where is this data going and sitting in?
Okay, so they will provide this cloud details
Yes.
in the
Yes.
GUI, right?
Yes.
So it will
Yes.
be pulling from there.
Yes. So the
Okay,
info
okay.
type is a
Hmm,
table. You're calling the table. That's a SAP
hmm,
term.
yeah.
Okay. So the
Hmm,
other applications may also be using the similar functionality, but they are not
hmm,
calling them as info types. They may be calling it as a different, maybe portlet or maybe block or maybe a
hmm,
table. Okay.
hmm,
Now you're
hmm,
saving some information. Maybe it could be personal information or it could be employment information or some information. You're saving the data in a table-like structure.
yeah.
Okay. That's
Hmm,
that's the SAP platform. Okay. Now different
yeah.
applications may be using a different naming or a different
Ah,
process.
that's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm,
Now in success factors, we store the data in blocks or portlets.
okay.
We don't call it info type or we don't call it a table. So where is
Ah,
this
okay,
data getting
fine.
saved? This data is getting saved in this server. Now, if it is SAP, so you can see that physical server. Now, somewhere your server is hosted. Maybe your IT department is looking after that server. Now, you can go and see your server. You know how much
Okay.
data you have in the server, right?
Hmm,
So, in success factors, you will not see that physical server.
hmm.
You're connecting to your server through internet.
Internet. Okay.
Whereas for SAP or the on-premise application, you will have to install a GUI, okay, graphical user interface, and then connect to SAP using that GUI. Whereas the cloud computing application, you will have to access the data using URL. Okay. Now, depending on these three structures, we have the cloud service models have been divided into three. The first part is IaaS, infrastructure as a service. Second is platform as a service, and third is software as a service, SaaS. So there are some customers who may want to have only these servers. Only they want to have servers. They want to build their own application. Let's say I want to develop my own software. So the first thing that I need is, depending on the software that I want to develop, I need to go and procure the server. Servers are very expensive. Okay, maybe I need 100 GB of space or 1000 GB of space. So I'll go procure that 1000 GB server. Right? That's the infrastructure. In cloud computing, the servers are also available as infrastructure as a service. Now, instead of procuring the servers, now if I have to procure a server, let's say 1000 GB of space, if I want to procure, maybe it is costing me 1 lakh. Now, instead of procuring that server, what I can do is I can opt for cloud computing servers. There, I'm not procuring the servers. The cloud service mode in the cloud service models in the IaaS, they will be giving you the required infrastructure on rent. So if I want to use the server for next 3 years or 5 years, I can subscribe to them and get the I can avail the service of the servers. It's like example of, if you know, everybody want to build their own home, but not everybody can afford buying a home. So what you will do, instead of buying your own house, you go and stay in a rented house, right? So if you have to buy a house, maybe you may have to spend 50 or 60 lakhs. But if you want to stay in a rented house, maybe you will spend only 10,000 or 20,000 or 30,000, depending on the house that I'm using, right? So same thing here, the infrastructure as a service, the cloud services, they provide you the required infrastructure. You want to use it for 2 years, I just subscribe for 2 years, okay? And if I want to extend my usage, so I can go renew and extend it for another 2 years or 3 years. That's infrastructure as a service. And here we are only getting the server space. Now, even in the iCloud, they give you 5 GB of space for free. And after 5 GB, if you want to use, no, if you want to use more space, maybe up to 50 GB, you have some price. Let's say you have to pay them 79 rupees per month or 80 rupees per month or 100 rupees per month. You want to use 100 GB of space, maybe you'll have to spend 150 or 200 to use that space, right? So it is similar to IaaS. Second is the platform. Once you have the server, you want to build an application, you need to have the operating system. What is the operating system that you want to use? You want to build your application either in .NET or in Java or in which platform do you want to use? That's the platform as a service. There, instead of procuring or the operating system, you can utilize the cloud services operating system. And the third is software as a service. Here, you don't have to procure IA infrastructure. You don't have to have the operating system. The application is already built. Application is already built. It is ready to use. You just have to go subscribe and start using it. And the examples here are your SuccessFactors or a Salesforce or a Workday. So these are the HR applications. Maybe for other purposes you have different applications. Maybe for finance or accounting you have different applications. You have say for sales you have CRM related applications. So you have different applications for different purposes. So that's software as a service. The examples of each of these cloud service models. IaaS, if you have heard about AWS, Amazon Web Services, that's what they do. They give the infrastructure. Platform as a service, you have Google Apps Engine, Force.com, on which the Salesforce is built. The examples of software as a service are your Dropbox or Salesforce or SuccessFactors or Workday. So these are all examples of software as a service. Now, why people are moving to cloud computing from on-premise? So nowadays, if you see most of the customers across the globe, 90% of the customers, they are trying, either they have moved into the cloud computing or they are planning to move into cloud computing. Why? What are the advantages of it? Firstly, the productivity anywhere. You can access the data from any corner of the world. If you remember, when the COVID hits the world, so everybody was working remotely. How they were accessing the data? So it was easy for the customers who are already on the cloud, right? So the productivity anywhere. You can access the data from any corner of the world. Now today, in sitting in India, I'm accessing the data of the employees who are in US or in UK or in Australia. So how I'm doing it? Because all of their data is in the cloud. That data is stored in the cloud. If I'm a manager, if I have to approve someone's leave and I'm out of station, so how do I approve? I can approve the leaves or I can do any kind of action from my mobile. I don't have to log into my system. I can do it from my mobile as well. The productivity anywhere. Offsite data storage. You're not storing the data in the physical servers. Now, if you are going with on-premise application, you should have a dedicated space to store your server firstly. You should spend some money on procuring the server. You should have someone to look after your servers. But here, offsite data storage. So you don't see the storage, you don't see the servers physically. You don't have to have a dedicated space to install your servers. No IT maintenance cost. You don't have to hire any IT people to look after your servers. Networking team, you don't have to have a dedicated networking team to look after your servers. Disaster assistance, if you are using on-premise applications, if something happens to your server, it is your own responsibility to fix it. Or if you want to rename it, or if you want to extend the space in your server, so it is your responsibility there. Whereas here in cloud computing, you don't have to worry about the disaster assistance. It is the cloud service provider's responsibility to fix any kind of issues or to look after your servers. It is always up and running. 365 days you can use this application. There is no downtime. Lower cost of ownership because of the cost that you are spending, because of the amount that you are spending on the servers, physical servers or a space. Now if you want to have your application in on-premise, you need to procure server, which is very expensive. You need to have a dedicated space. You need to have a dedicated team. So all of this is a saving for you when you go with cloud computing application. And then easily upgraded. Every application that we use in our daily life should be updated. Okay, and when the updates happen, some new features would be introduced. Like recently there was an update in iOS 17. There are some new features which are added into the product. Immediately after having the 17, they have also added one more upgrade, 17.0.2. Why? Because they found some bugs in the product, then they have released one more upgrade. So every product needs some kind of upgrades. Similarly, SuccessFactors also updates their product once or twice in a year, once in 6 months or twice in a year. This happens here. This happens here in sequence. Every year there are two upgrades which will happen, and that's called 1H and the 2H. First half of the year and second half of the year. In general, the software, in general, the the softwares that we see or the application that we see in our mobile, we may or may not know when was the update happened. Okay, because they don't use the fixed times. But in SuccessFactors, we know the schedule. First half of the release always happens somewhere in the month of April, May. Second half of the release always happens in the month of October, November. We'll come to know what are the new functionalities, new features, or if there are any bugs that are identified, no, they'll be fixing those bugs. So all of this happens in releases. That's easily upgraded. So you don't have to do anything. The cloud service provider, they will be updating the application. Okay. Now, what is SuccessFactors? SuccessFactors is a HR application which is used by the organizations. As a company, SuccessFactors as a company, it's owned by SAP, the leading provider of cloud-based business execution software. And we were calling it as HRIS application, Human Resource Information System. The module, what we have earlier, what we have in system, we were calling it as HR application, Human Resource Application. Later, no, initially only the master data was maintained. So we are calling it as a HR application. Later, they have added additional functionalities like having the appraisal system or having the learning system or having the onboarding or the recruiting or succession into the system. They have renamed it as HCM, Human Capital Management. It's not only maintaining the data, but also providing the services like appraisal systems or the goal management or performance management or learning management and so on. Now, recently they have again renamed it to HXM instead of HCM. Now we are calling it as HXM, Human Experience Management. Now, how an employee experiences the organization. Okay, so the recent naming what they have given is HXM. SuccessFactors is a HXM application, Human Experience Management. So what do we have in SuccessFactors? We have a lot of modules. We can do a lot in SuccessFactors. It is all about the employee. Now, as an employee, when I join any organization, if I have to look at my organization structure, how my organization is structured, what is my company, how many locations my company is operating from, what are the departments that I have, how many cost centers we have, how many managers we have, or who is the CEO of the organization, how the department heads are structured. So I can, as an employee, I can look at the overview of the organization. So how do I see all of this data? Because all of this data is maintained somewhere in the system. And if you look at this picture, the base of the success factors is Employee Central. This is the base. What do we do in Employee Central? We maintain all master data, all of the hires, all of the terminations, all about the employee is stored in Employee Central. What is the personal information of the employee? What is the address of the employee? Phone numbers of the employee, contact information of the employee, employment details, job information, salary details. So all of this data is stored and processed in Employee Central. From Employee Central, the data is moved to different modules of success factors, like a performance management. Performance management is an appraisal system. So appraisals, you should know what is the employee designation, what are the goals of the employee, whom the employee is reporting to. So you should know all of these details, and all of these details are maintained in Employee Central. So system pushes the data from Employee Central to the modules like performance management or learning management or recruiting or compensation, and the data flows from Employee Central and to Employee Central from these modules too. So there is a tight integration between these modules. We can push all the appraisal data to Employee Central. We can push all the revised compensation details to Employees Central. We fetch the details from Employee Central and push the details to Employee Central. So these are all the modules that we have. And we talked about Employee Central. So what do? We maintain the master data of the employees. Employee Central is a vast module. We have lot of functionalities. And all of the configuration related to Employee Central would be covered in 24 sessions. There are some extensions to Employee Central, like a global assignment or a concurrent employment or a contingent workforce. So we are not dealing with that. We are looking at the core Employee Central configuration, and it takes 24 or 25 sessions to complete this configuration. We'll be covering all the areas of Employee Central right from the beginning. Now, in these 24, 25 sessions, the first 4 sessions would be completely of theoretical part. We'll be discussing about, since all of you are new to SuccessFactors, we'll be discussing about the SuccessFactors certification. What comes in certification? Is it mandatory to have certification? What is Learning Hub? What is Partner-Edge? What are configuration workbooks? What is the structure of what is the structure that we follow? How the releases happen? So all of this theoretical part is discussed in the first 4 sessions. And this is required for each and every aspirant who want to get into SuccessFactors. And then we start with the setup. So all of you will be given access to the system. There are 2 types of systems in SuccessFactors. One is called the provisioning and second is called the instance. So provisioning, we do a minimum or a very little configuration in the provisioning, like 1 or 2 to 5% of configuration of the entire configuration is done in the provisioning, and the rest of the 95% of configuration is done in the instance. So all of you will be getting access to instance, but not the provisioning. I'll tell you why you will not be given a provisioning access. Who gets the provisioning access? That we'll be discussing in the coming the regular sessions. So all of you will be given access to instance for 1 month. Okay, this is while on training, and this can be extended if required. If you want to use it for another 1 month or 2 months, that can be extended. Okay, so we'll start with the configuration. So we have the course content. So all of those topics which are or which will be covered in next 20-25 sessions, okay, is available in the course content. So all of you will be given access to the system. All of you will be given the materials required for learning. You will be wherever, whichever topic that we are discussing, and if I feel that yes, there are some certification related questions and you want to do certification, I'll be giving you the probable or the certification questions of that area. Okay, we'll be assisting you to prepare your resumes. Okay, we'll assist you to process your interviews. Any doubts here?
Venu, yes, this is Chris. So is this the end of the session or you have more to cover before I pose questions?
No, yeah, this is like, no, I'll take a pause here. If you want, I can walk you through the course content. But yes, if you have any doubts, you can ask.
I just wanted to
So I
check
think
if we are covering. Sorry, Chris, you can go ahead.
no, go for it. No worries.
Yeah, just wanted to check like if we are covering the implementation kind of areas also in this
Yes. Now, whatever that we
end-to-end
do in
implementation.
this system, whatever that we do in the system. Now, if you look at the course content, first we'll be covering these parts. This is a theoretical part, and then from here onwards, this is the configuration what we'll be doing. And whenever you implement success factors for a customer, success factors recommends us to follow certain steps, a sequence of steps to be followed
Right.
to implement for a customer. That's called the implementation sequence. We'll be going
Sequence.
through all of these steps. Okay. Now, even in the real time when you are placed in the projects, okay, after this training, you'll be doing the same configurations in the same sequence. So
Okay, so
the configurations that we do in our sessions, it is like a project starting from the requirement gathering to
release.
production movement, it's a go live. Okay, so we'll be
Okay.
doing all of these things.
Okay, so you will be showing one real-time project or like from starting
Yeah,
till
it is.
the production moment you
Yes,
will be showing.
yes, exactly.
Okay, okay, understood. Thank you.
It's a kind of project that you are doing. You can take an example, like let's say you're working for some organization. You can take your organization itself. You can build all the configuration related to your organization.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, in terms of training agenda, contents, the duration of the course, the server cost for additional usage after the first 1 month, and all of those
Yeah.
details will be shared
Yes.
prior to
The
training. Is it?
duration I have already told you. It's 24, no, somewhere between 24 to 26 or 27 sessions. Depends, like,
Right.
if you want, wherever you wanted to have some additional configurations or additional scenarios to be covered, we'll be covering that.
Those
Okay.
24
So,
sessions are across 24 days, or is it across
yes,
12 days, like 2 hours? Yeah.
1 hour a day and 5 days a
Okay.
week. So Monday to Friday will be, having 1 hour of session every day. Okay. Now all of this, out of 24, 25 sessions, 4 sessions are of theoretical part and rest of the 25 sessions are of practical part. And if you want to extend the access, then you can speak to Krishna. Okay. He will coordinate with you and he will guide you on how to extend the access.
Got it. And are you also able to tell us who this course is for? Because, for example, I come with 18 years of quality assurance domain.
Hmm.
From the sounds of it, looks like I'm looking for a complete, transition from one domain to another, and starting from the
Yeah.
scratch might not be ideal from what I think. So, are you able to tell this group on who this is for and who should be taking up this course and how it will
This
benefit
is
us?
for, yeah, this is for someone. Now, we don't have any prerequisite. If somebody is thinking that we should have SAP experience or SAP knowledge to learn success factors, no, it is not. There is no prerequisite to learn success factors. Anybody can learn success factors and can start their career in success factors. The only benefit that you will have if you have knowledge in SAP or in Oracle is the process. Okay, the process remains same, but the configurations are different. Now, this is for someone who want to implement the success factors system to the customers. If you want to build your career in consulting, like you go interact with the customer, look at their requirements and configure success factor system for them. Okay, so that's called the implementation of HRIS system, human resource information system, to the customers. You want to build your career in the HRIS softwares, one of the softwares, so you can take up this course.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Now, why
I
do
have
customers use success factors? Customer uses success factors for their employees. When you
one more
work for
doubt.
an
I have.
organization, yes, go ahead.
Whatever the configuration, everything will be doing success factor only, right? There will not be
Yes.
anything done from our GUI side, SPRO.
No, no,
It will not.
no, no,
Everything will be
no.
success factor only.
Yes, in SAP we have
Yeah,
different routes. Like configuration is done in SPRO, data
yeah,
maintenance done in PA30. Okay, and
yeah,
then if employee has to look at their data, they'll have to log into ESS. So we have
yeah,
different layers there. But in
yeah.
success factors we don't have these things. All of it is in one application. Now if you are a
Everything will be
consultant,
success factor.
yes, everything in success factors. If you are a consultant, when you log into system, you'll be able to do
Mm.
the configuration. The end user or the employee will also be logging to the same application with their credentials. When they log into the system, they may see only limited screens
Scenes.
related to themselves, like
Yeah.
employee self-service. That's called employee self-service. Okay.
Only
When a
success.
manager logs in, manager may see some additional features like
Yeah.
approving their
Which one
employees'
is role?
request.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a different role. You are
Okay.
also logging to the same system, but your role is different. You are a consultant.
Yeah,
So
that's
you may
based
see a
on the
lot
role.
of screens.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
So there will not be, if I want to change something, we can't do it from GUI side. Like BA30 will go and edit nothing. Everything will be in the success factor only.
Yes.
There will not be even if I want to view there, it's not possible. No link
What do you want to
between
view?
this. Like suppose earlier I told no, like we'll be going the PA30, PA20 will have this change everything.
No,
That will not
now
be
this is
a,
your success factors.
yeah.
Let me explain. This is your
Mm,
success factors. Once you log in,
okay.
anybody or
Mm,
everybody who logs into the system, they will land up onto this page. You want to
mm,
look at some employee data, you just go,
mm,
who is that employee? Maybe want to look at John's data. So I
mm,
can see that there are these many
mm,
employees with name John.
mm,
Okay. So I want
mm,
to look at one of these employee data. I know this employee.
mm,
I want to look at this
mm,
employee data. So you can just
mm,
click on the employee data. It will take you to the
mm,
employee screen where you can
mm,
see all the information, like what
mm,
you're calling as info types in SAP. So I can see
mm,
all of that information on one single page called people profile,
mm,
where I can
mm,
go if I want to change the
mm,
salary, if I want to transfer this employee, want to change some
mm.
personal information, I can do it here itself.
From here
Now,
itself.
I want to create a department or I want to create a
Mm,
location. Again, there is
mm,
some navigation. You can always use this global search bar where I can go search for the action that I want to do. I know that the location
mm,
is created in this place, manage
mm,
organization, pay and job
mm,
structure. Search for that
mm,
action and then just go
mm.
and create location. Just select the
Location.
location, you fill the details, it gets filled. Now
Mm,
this location can be used. So all of
mm,
this is done in one single place. You want to add a
mm,
field to
mm,
people profile screen. Yes, you can do.
mm,
There is also action called manage business configuration. Go there, add a field.
mm. So
So in
enhancement
SAP,
is,
adding a field or adding an info type is a big task.
mm,
But
yeah,
whereas in
new.
SuccessFactors, it is simple. You go to manage
Mm,
business configuration. Where do you want to
mm,
add? I want to add a field in comp information, or I want to
mm,
add a field in personal information. Go. These are all the blocks that we have.
okay, sir.
Okay.
Mm,
Select the
mm,
block that you want to add a field. The system gives
mm,
you the option to add the
mm,
type of field. What type of field you want to add? Is it a text field? Is
mm,
it a number field? Or it is a date field?
mm,
Whether you want to
mm,
have it as a mandatory field or whether it is an
mm,
optional field or you want to have it as a drop down field.
mm,
So all of this you can do it from here itself. Now you have take action, make correction. You want to add a field, just go
mm.
down, just see what are the fields that are available
Yes,
here.
sir.
Select a
Mm,
field, name it,
mm,
what name you want to give,
mm,
enable it yes
mm,
or no, whether it is
mm,
mandatory yes or no. So just keep on
mm.
adding those details and just save it.
And no need of coding and all for this.
No need of coding. We don't do any kind
Mm.
of coding in success
Coding in
factors.
success factor. Okay. Okay, fine. So
It
custom
is easy
solution
to
also.
learn. Yes,
Yeah.
customizations can be done to some extent.
Mm,
Now, we
mm,
cannot change the system completely. Like I want to have people profile in a different model. No, I don't
mm,
want to have it in a vertical way. I want to have it in horizontal,
mm,
or I want to change the view of the people
mm,
profile. That is not possible.
mm,
Now, changing of the colors, changing of the pictures, changing of the logos, changing of the
Hello.
text, all of this is possible. It is easy
mm,
to change. Like I see a picture here. I want to change the picture, I
mm,
can do. I can change. I see a
mm,
different color here. I want to have different my own theme. Yes, the themes
that we
can be
can
changed.
apply.
I can have the
Mm,
background change. I can have
mm,
these tiles, colors can be changed. If I don't want to see some of them, I can hide them. If I want
mm,
to have additional no actions onto the screen, yes, all of this is possible in the system.
mm,
I have a
okay.
quick
Yes,
doubt, Venu. I have a quick
yes, go
doubt.
ahead. go ahead.
what is that BAB integration? Do you cover that one? Because we are implementing that one.
No,
Business
no,
integration.
will not be doing, will not be looking at any of the integration. See, different customers uses different interfaces or integrations. Okay, now if you
Yeah,
want to move the data from success factors, we'll only be talking about success factors. We'll be looking at only the configurations that we do in success factors, not with the outside application. Now, if you want to move the data from success factors to any other application, okay,
yeah,
maybe you are
yeah,
using a different time application and you want to move the data from success factors to the time or performance or any other application. So
yeah.
different customers uses different integrations or interfaces, like some uses Delbumi, some says no they want to use CPA, some they say they want to use no PI. So different customers uses different interface, so we will not be discussing about the integrations.
No, no, the reason why I'm asking you is like because we are right now using ECC and
Hmm.
they're implementing success factors, but that as you told, they're not going for all the modules. They're only
Hmm.
implementing ECC, but they
Hmm.
want to data map the ECC data to success factors, and they're using
Yeah.
this box called BAB. So what are all the
Yeah.
data
So
elements
that's
are
what I
right
say.
now
Yeah.
existing in
Hmm.
here? They're just mapping it with the SF, and
Yes.
whatever they're not existing, we have to write a different ABAP code for that one so that they get mapped. And whenever
Hmm.
a everyday job is run in the evening, the data
Hmm.
comes get replicated in ECC. But
Yes.
what about the payroll? Like the compensation management is the payroll in is
No.
success factors?
Compensation management in success factors is different. Compensation management is only used for the salary revisions at the end of the year. Once the performance cycle is completed, based on the performance of the employees, employee
Yeah.
salaries are to be revised. Okay,
One
now
more.
the salary recommendations are done by managers here. It is not the salary process, it is only the salary recommendations. Planners will be recommending some sort of increase, which will be approved by
Yeah.
managers, and then calibrated by HRs, and then the final salary, the revised salary, gets into employee central. So that's compensation module. So we also have a module called ECP, which is employee central payroll, which is
Yeah.
a cloud payroll system, which is similar to your payroll process in SAP. So all the
Okay.
screens, what you see in SAP HCM related to the payroll, you will see it here in Employee Central Cloud.
Oh, okay. And they have the same logic like the schemas and
Yes, everything is
PCRs and
same there.
features?
Yes, yes. It is
Oh,
the replication of your SAP HCM payroll system. Only thing is
hmm.
they've moved that entire stack of payroll to cloud. So we call it cloud
Oh,
payroll system,
okay.
ECP.
So maybe if we are having any problem, we can just use the same logic of troubleshooting,
Yes,
the tree structure,
yes,
everything.
exactly.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, okay, okay.
Just one question. So, what is the difference between this ECP and R3 in SuccessFactors?
ECP and
R3. R3 is also something which we are using for the payroll
R3,
processing.
R3, yeah, R3 is R3 is a on-premise payroll system. Okay, so
Okay.
SAP payroll, if you want to do it in the on-premise, then you go with R3. Whereas, yeah, if you are using cloud success factors, then you can use Employee Central Payroll, which is a cloud payroll system. The
Okay.
screens of the cloud payroll system and the SAP R3, both of them are same. It is only the difference will be you'll be accessing those screens using a URL here.
Okay. Understood.
Regarding reporting, if you want, if the customer asks for custom reports and all, how will we accomplish that?
We have reporting module here. Okay, you go to reporting, you
Mhm.
can build any, there are system given reports. Okay,
Already. Mm,
by
mm,
yeah, default reports are, some default reports are given by success factors, we
mm,
can use them. Or if you want
mm,
to build your own report, like I want to
mm.
create a
New
report,
one.
some
Mm,
fields of personal information, some fields of comp
mm,
information, some fields of
mm,
the employment details, you can build, like
mm,
I want to see employee name, first
mm,
name, last name, and then employees department, and then employees
mm,
current salary. So you can build your
mm,
own report and then execute. Now this report can be
mm.
shared with others. Others can also, execute it and extract the report.
It's like the fields will be available and we have to just drag and drop like in SAP what we are do or
Yeah. No, you don't have to drag and drop here. You'll just
hmm,
have to go select the
hmm,
fields which are
layout.
required.
Hmm.
Yeah. So you
Ah,
can,
like
let's say I want employment related details. Just go
hmm,
see what columns you have. We call each of those fields as a columns here. Okay.
hmm,
You
hmm,
can go and add all of the columns that you want to see in your report. And if you want to
hmm,
filter, maybe I don't want to
hmm,
extract all the employee data. I'll just say
hmm,
test here. I don't want to have all of the employee data. I just want to extract only a particular location or particular department. I can go
hmm.
and see here. I
Column select
select
columns.
columns. Yes, you just say
Ah,
I
so
want to
for
use this
different
field.
modules we can add
Yes,
select.
for each of these
Okay.
information, you can go like
Also we
I want
can
to see
select.
manager's ID. I want to see
Hmm,
the position of the
hmm,
employee. I want to see
hmm,
department or division of the employee, location. You
hmm,
can select all of these things.
hmm.
We okay, and then I
So
I can
we
go and
will also
filter.
be
Yes, we'll be looking at this reports
Okay,
as well.
okay.
reporting will
It's
also be
part of
covered in the training session, right?
yes, yes.
Employee
It's
center.
at the
Okay.
here at the end of
Uh,
the
Reports.
course content.
uh,
We have reports.
reports. So are we also discussing people analytics?
People analytics is a completely a different module in success
Mm-hmm.
factors. Now the content what we are going to cover is only the
Is
employee
only
central.
this employee
Again, if
central.
you go to certification also, the code for employee
Mm-hmm.
central certification is THR 81. The complete
Mm-hmm.
content which is required for THR 81 will be covering. Additionally, we'll also cover some other topics.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And Venu, this
Hmm.
for so did you say that you'll not just be focusing on employee central, but you'll be cutting across all the topics of success factors? Did I hear it
No,
right?
it is not all topics of employee central. No, this is purely the employee central core. Anything, everything related to employee central. Now, there are some extensions for employee central, like time off is there. Okay. So
Hmm.
that's a different module. You have different certification for time off. You have
Okay.
global assignment. Global assignment is not required for all the customers. It is an extension of employee central. For a customer who operates from different countries, when the employee goes and works in a different country, we move that employee on global assignment. Employee will be coming back to the home assignment again. So that's global assignment. We have concurrent employment. We have contingent workforce. So all of these are extensions of employee central. I'll be taking you through what does employee central contain and all.
Sure, sure. No worries. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah. Anything else that you want like to know?
Sorry, Vinu, I have one question, quick question.
Mm. Yes,
Uh,
go ahead.
see, we are completely new. Okay,
Hmm.
so we will be able to know manage and cope up and learn things, or we should
Yes.
know certain things.
You don't have to, like, if you know the process of what a HR does in the organization or what an employee does in the organization, that's enough. Okay. So I'll be guiding you. I'll be taking you through each and every step. Like, why do we use this particular field? Where is this field used? What, no, what is the use of this particular skill? I'll be explaining you all of those details. Okay. Like, we'll be covering all the real-time scenarios. Like, when you're hiring an employee, why should we use these fields? What is the use of these fields? Or if you have to add more fields, like this is the requirement, how do you do this in the system? So we'll be looking at the theoretical part, like what are the scenarios and how we achieve it in the system.
Okay, good. Thanks a
Okay.
lot.
Yeah.
One last question. In terms of the trainers, who will be the trainers?
Hmm.
Satya still training on
I'm
EC,
this.
or
I am the trainer.
you'll be the
I'll
trainer
be
for the next
training
batch?
you. Yes. Yes.
Satya is not training anymore, is it?
I don't know about Satya. You can speak to Krishna on that.
All right, no worries. Okay,
But
thank
this
you.
batch, I will be looking after the training.
Okay, great.
Okay. So any other questions that you have on the commercials or on the timings part, you can speak to
Yeah.
Krishna. He will clarify on that.
Okay.
Otherwise,
So
training related, once you're enrolled for the training, once we start our regular training sessions, so I will be your point of contact. Like you can reach out to me for any kind of queries that you have related to the subject. Okay.
regular
And
session when it will start tomorrow onwards, or?
not tomorrow, not immediately. We are taking a
Hmm.
break of a week, and then from next week
Yes.
onwards, we'll be starting up the regular sessions.
It will be in the evening, right?
As of now, we are planning to have two batches, one in the morning, 7:30 a.m. IST, and one in
Uh-huh.
the evening, which is 7 p.m. IST. So you can
7
choose
p.m.,
between
right?
the slots. Yeah.
Okay, fine, fine.
We may also have maybe after 10 days or 2 weeks, we may also start one more batch with 9 a.m. So usually these are the times, 7:30 a.m. in the morning, 9 a.m. in the
9
morning, and
p.m.
7 p.m. in the morning. So currently the
9 p.m.
9 a.m. 9 a.m. batch is going on. We'll be
Hmm.
completing that in another 10 days. So we have these three
Ah,
slots available.
okay, fine.
Okay. So I will stop it here and hope to see you soon. Thank you very much for your time. Okay.
Thank you so much.